Good morning, everybody. This is John Scarborough and Savannah Scarborough. We're out here working. Got Savannah doing a little bit of research. Today we've got a little bit of a problem with our truck. We're getting ready to do some work on it. This is the truck Savannah takes to market. We use it for deliveries as well, a lot of times here on the farm. It's also a pretty good little farm rig. But I wanted to do a little discussion today about mechanic work and your shop and things like that. Inevitably, at some point, if you are farming or if you are homesteading, or if that's something you're thinking about doing, you are most likely going to have to do some kind of mechanic work. There's no real getting away from it. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have to do that forever, okay? But I am saying that most people are going to have to do some kind of mechanic work. And I think most farmers are going to be able to agree with me, because it's not just about, when you're farming, it's not just about having the income, although a lot of times it is an income problem. It's also about actually getting back to work in time, because many times what happens is a piece of equipment will break down and you're not going to be able to get it. You're not going to be able to get a mechanic to work on it or get your piece of equipment in for a mechanic to work on before you get time. Before you run out of time. Like a good, for instance, is I did a little bit of work in Nebraska. I was helping a good friend out doing some stuff with some wheat harvest. They run about 10,000 acres up there. And there were many times they would have combines break down and they just had to repair it themselves, mostly because of time. Because now a lot of it was money. They could save a lot better money doing it themselves. But a lot of times it was because of time. They had to get it back going again and they had to get back in the field. So bottom line is it's inevitable you're going to have to do some mechanic work, most likely. And many of us, especially if you're trying to do something like homesteading, you're going to end up having to do it just simply to save some money here and there. For us, it isn't because we can't afford to get somebody else to work on it, but it's because it just ends up being better off most of the time for us to work on some of our own things. Now, there's a lot of things, like I just took her car in to do some work on her car. It just makes more sense. But there are some things it just makes more sense to work on by ourselves. So I just wanted to do a quick video touching on some of the basic things. We're not going to do an in-depth video here. We're going to do a more in-depth video later on. But I just want to do some quick basic needs that you're going to need. Okay, obviously you're going to need a halfway decent set of sockets and wrenches. You do not need anything special. I would suggest starting out getting just simply your 3/8 drive, not worrying about any of the other stuff. These other things are nice. This is not an elaborate set. There are definitely, by all means, there are a lot of people with way better stuff. But just simply having a pretty decent 3/8 set, usually just having metric is good enough, but you know, metric and standard does come in handy. But for most of your things, metric will do you okay. Now, if you're running older tractors and stuff like we are, you may get into a place, especially some of the old Ford tractors and stuff, you're going to have some standard around. So it doesn't hurt to end up with both of them, and it's not thought all that expensive. Eventually, all of these other sizes are nice, especially your 1/2-inch drive, and then really even bigger than that is pretty nice for a lot of your tractors, or even if you're working on like a disc or something like that. But really, a guy could, if you're working on a farm, a guy could do pretty decent with just a 3/8 drive and then a 3/4 drive and skip the other ones until they get a chance to do something with it. You can tell here I've got a 3/4 drive that drops down to 1/2-inch, and I use that for my breakover bar from time to time. Okay, so you're going to need some decent things like that. You will need some wrenches, things like that. You do not need gear wrenches starting out, even though they are nice. But all you really need is a good box-end wrench to start out. I'll run in here real quick, show you a couple of them. Like I said, I mean, I've got some decent things myself, but you know, I've got these hanging on the wall. I like it that I can get in here and actually see them. These gear wrenches are nice. They've got shorter, stubby wrenches that are nice. All of these types of tools, they're nice. But all you got to have, and this is all I started out with, is just a couple of box-end wrenches. They're great usually with that and your ratchets and stuff. You're going to be okay getting started. Of course, you will probably need some bigger stuff if you're working on bigger tractors and things like that. Just depends on what you're actually doing. The second thing that you don't have to have, but is very, very nice on a farm, is realistically just a good shop. It's raining outside right now, and that gives us the ability, as farmers, a lot of times we are always working outside unless it's raining. So that gives you the ability when it's raining to come in and work on things like mechanic work and stuff like that. A lot of times y'all will see certain things sitting in my shop for a while not getting worked on, and the reason is because over the course of the summer it usually doesn't rain all that much, or it's not cold. So a lot of times I'll be working and I'm waiting for the ideal day to get in and work on things like that. That's why I have things in two. That's why I have two four-wheelers, I have two tractors, I have you know, a couple different vehicles we can run around in, things like that. That way I can stand to have one down and work on the other. Another thing you're going to need, if you have a shop, but whether you do or not, is you're going to need some access to internet. In our day and age, I don't care who you are, you're going to need to be able to look up everything you've got. You really need to be able to look up YouTube and look at your different, you know, somebody has done this on everything that you do on most of your vehicles, most of your tractors and everything. Now, not some tractors, you don't get it exact, but you get a video that's close enough. But like this truck right here, I can pretty much find a video on every single thing that's done like this. And you shouldn't feel bad about this. I even talk to mechanics that do this on a daily basis that still look up YouTube videos if it's something they're not real familiar with. There's nothing wrong with that. You're making it quicker and faster for yourself. But also you need to be able to look at forms and things like that so you can diagnose problems. So you need good internet. You really, really need a good shop of some kind at some point, but you definitely have to have a decent set of tools and things like that. A concrete pad just makes it nice. It's not necessary, but I will tell you it is borderline necessary. It is very nice to be able to roll that jack under there, pick your stuff up, be able to roll your toolboxes around. I did it for years without a shop. I did it for years with just a bare minimum set of tools. You can do it. It is awful, but you can do it. But as time goes on, just having that good shop is a wonderful thing. And having the next thing is having good lighting. Okay, and that's one reason why we have these big doors right here, and we also have this right here, so that I can have really good natural light, because nothing really beats natural light. And we're in a foggy day right now because it's actually raining outside. I know it looks bright out there, but if you look out there, it's actually, if you walk out there, it's actually white. And I know you can't tell it's raining, but I'm gonna be quiet for a second and let you hear it is drizzling. I'm assuming you can hear that. You just have to take my word for it, because I do get people telling me sometimes that I'm lying and saying that it's not raining, but my phone does not pick up rain for whatever reason. It doesn't pick up, like, you can't see it on the camera. I don't really know why, but whatever the case may be, having a good shop is nice, and having really good light. And the second thing is you know, you're gonna need, no matter what you do, I don't care how good your light is, you're gonna need some kind of a hood light, some kind of a decent light in here. That's all simple, nothing complicated. But the biggest thing you're gonna need is, like I said, the internet and a decent set of tools. Okay, that's gonna be your biggest things you're gonna need. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. I will make a more in-depth video if that's something y'all wanna see. We do quite a bit of our own mechanic work here on farm. Usually both of us will work on it a lot of times. She'll help me. Many times it's just me. It's not that big of a deal. But that is something we do, okay? So, like and subscribe and put it in the comments if you wanna see more of that kind of thing.